Hello and welcome to the Friday Vibe with Paula Love Clarke on Integrity Magazine. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And what a wonderful day it's been. And it's going to be an absolutely wonderful evening because we have the very, very talented American actor, producer and writer and hockey coach. It's very important to get that in because he keeps it. Thom Michael Mulligan. Welcome to the Friday Vibe and Integrity Live, Thom. It's so lovely to have you on.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me on, Paula. I really appreciate it, and I've been excited about doing this. So thank you very much.
You're very, and you know Eric, who came on, last week.
Yes, I do. Yes, I met Eric last year at one of the film festivals in California. My film was playing and his, and we kind of hit it off, and we keep in touch with each other. And he just put me in his film, Incoming Impact. It's a voiceover role of a pilot, and I just did that a couple days ago. So I'll be in there as a voiceover of a pilot.
It's
so yes.
World. I mean, I didn't know that you guys knew each other, and then I'm interviewing you within like a week of each other, and then you're literally working together. It's weird.
Yeah, we have a couple of other ideas too that we're talking about, but we'll see. You know, it's a little bit hard with being over there and I'm here, but yeah, we're talking about a few things. So,
well, you can do anything. Look at us. I'm in the UK. You're in San Diego. Is that right?
Totally. And you know what? I thought I was supposed to be filming today, but they canceled because of the smoke. It's still very smoky here. And so I was going to be doing the interview in my car. And I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. You're over in London and I'm going to be interviewing with you from my car. That's the crazy world we live in now. But I'm home. So anyway, it worked out, I think, better that I'm here.
I didn't know because my geography isn't the best, but San Diego's just outside of California, isn't it? Just kind of outside LA, isn't that right?
Well, San Diego's 120 miles from downtown LA. And I live in Oceanside, which is 35 miles north of downtown San Diego.
Right, okay.
So, yes.
That just gives a perspective on how far you are away from Hollywood, because you're quite often in LA doing film projects, aren't you?
Yeah, not as much. Well, obviously not as much for a while now because of COVID. But yeah, I'd be going up there working on things or going for auditions. But that's kind of changing too, because now a lot of this is self-tape. And now because of COVID, because of people going more to Zoom and these kind of, this kind of media, I think more auditions are going to be self-tape at home. And so you won't have to go to LA as much. And then maybe if they like you, it gets toward the, 3 or 4 callbacks, maybe they bring you up there. But so that's even changing, you know what I mean? But it's a haul. It's 120 miles. So it was a haul to drive up and drive back. But I've been doing it for years. So.
And you're a hard-working actor. I mean, what age did you start wanting to get into that field of acting?
Well, I don't know about wanting, but my mom, I grew up in New York City and Hell's Kitchen at Chelsea. Hello to my friends there. If anybody's watching from my hometown, I love you guys. You're so supportive. But when I was about 7 years old, my mom had an audition for a play at the Hudson Guild Theater. And she said, hey, Tommy, come with me. I want you to see what this is like. So I went with her. I was 7. And they had a role for a kid in the play. And so while I was there, they said, well, hey, we have a role for a kid, and would your son be interested? Anyway, I wind up being in the play. My very first line is, hey, Ma, give me a dime. I want to buy a cone. Well, it's a different world now, but that's how I got started. And I did 3 plays with my mom. And then I actually got cast in 3 or 4 other plays from people who saw me on stage. And then by the time I hit 10, I was more interested in sports. Yeah. Baseball, hockey. I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. That was really my big dream. And then all the years went by, but I would think about acting every once in a while. I would look at the backstage at the what's going on and things. And then finally, when I hit 30, I thought, you know what? I think I'm gonna start acting. It was kind of like woke up one morning, went, I'm moving back into New York, and I'm going to start acting. That was in January of 1980, and that's pretty much how it happened. And I guess it was kind of meant to be because here I am all these years later.
I know. And what kind of role did you get? I mean, how did you pursue it? Did you do workshops? Did you get a coach? How did you pursue your?
When I started in New York? Okay, yeah. When I started in New York in 1980, I immediately started taking classes. And then a couple of people told me, that was over 30 years ago. But anyway, told me I had a great look for the soaps, that I should submit my headshot to the soaps. Now all I had was my little theater credits from as a kid, and I started sending them out. And lo and behold, they got a call from another world, and I go in and they put me on. They gave me an under 5 line role. This is like a couple of months after I started in New York, and I was on there as a bartender, right? And I thought, wow, this is going to be easy, but no, come to find out, no, it wasn't. So, but that's how it happened. And then I wound up being, over the years in New York, I wound up being on most of the soaps, under 5s, some day players, read for contract roles, got callbacks, never booked one, kept getting close, But I took classes. Always took classes. I took on-camera classes. I took theater classes. And back east, I did a lot of theater, probably over 75 plays.
Wow.
I was constantly in plays back there. I love theater, so.
Did you get paid for doing that, or was it something that you did?
Well, as far as you mean theater?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, half of it was not paid, but I'd say the other half was paid. I did a lot of regional theater. I did dinner theater. The dinner theaters I worked in were always paid. But a lot of it was more, just getting on stage and working your craft and getting opportunities, because the thing is, Paula, you probably know this, there's competition for any level. There's huge competition
on everything.
I mean, student films, right? Student films here. It's not easy to get a student film because there's hundreds and thousands of actors trying to get into student films. So, I would say half was paid and half was not, but it was more about the love. And I wanted to get better. I wanted to be the best actor I could be.
And who were your inspirations? Who were your role models at that time?
I mean, as far as acting or just in general?
Yeah. People you saw on the screen, who were they? Who did you think, oh, I want to be like them? Or
I would say probably the actors were like, say, James Woods. I thought was a great actor. I thought he was very believable in character. Back then, maybe De Niro, Robert De Niro, Mel Gibson. When I saw Road Warrior, I thought, wow, he's going to be a huge star, and he was, right? That was back in the early 80s. And then as far as role, my parents were my 2 best friends, and they inspired me. Whatever I was doing, they encouraged me to do it. Excellent. Especially with the act. When I started acting, they loved it. No matter what, no matter how down I got, they always encouraged me, and they were really my role models, my main role models, other than actors on the screen.
So you describe yourself as a veteran actor, and I think you mentioned 30 years. Is that how long you've been in the industry?
No, I started in 1980, so it's over 40 years now.
Oh yeah, I can't count.
Yeah,
was never.
I mean, I'm still here, so something. I love doing it, and I'll be honest too. There's been many times I was going to give up. Like I'd wake up and go, you know what? I am so done with this.
Yeah.
I'm not getting another headshot. I'm not spending another penny on classes. I am done. And guess what happens? The call comes.
Something good happens.
The call comes. Hey, Thom, we got this role for you. And so, you keep rolling.
Was it what you expected? The acting?
Yeah, I mean, it's exhilarating to get to do it. Like when you work and get to do it when you're on stage or on set, it's exhilarating. It's the most fun, you know what I mean? And when you have those moments where you're really connected to that character, you lose awareness, you know what I mean? You're not aware of yourself. You're really in that moment. There's something special about that feeling. The other side of the coin is, yes, I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I mean, I'm starting at 30, and I just had the plays that I did with my mom, and the other plays I did before I was 10. But I have a lot of perseverance. I don't give up easily. And even though people told me, oh, you got a long road to hoe, kid, and you got, whatever, I heard all kinds of stuff. I decided this is what I was going to do. And something happened that really changed me. I worked at a restaurant. This is around 1982. I had an evening job in a restaurant, and I worked with this actress, Kathy Connors. She was incredibly nice, and she was the ShopRite lady. And ShopRite was a huge grocery store chain on the East Coast. She was getting $100,000 a year as a ShopRite lady, but she was still doing waitressing. So I said to her,
"She the face of ShopRite? Is that what she? What? She was the face of ShopRite. Is that so? She
yes, She did all their commercials. She got 100,000 a year. And I said, why are you still waitressing? Because I could lose this at any second. And guess what? A couple months later, when the contract came up again, it didn't get renewed. But here's what she told me. We sat down one night after work. She said, look, you got to decide. You want to be a movie star or an actor? Just like that. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, you have the looks to be a movie star. You have the, charisma, but do you want to be a movie star, the shooting star and fades away? Or do you want to be a really good actor? You got to make up your mind right now. Just like this, just right now. And I said, no, I want to be a really good actor. So she said, do as much theater as you can. And that's the path I took. So, yeah.
What great advice. That's amazing. And what have been the highs and lows of your career to date?
The highs and lows would be, well, first of all, getting to do this. I produced a movie, Callous.
This interview.
What's that? Well, this is a high. No, I'm very excited about this. No, believe me, I'm very excited that you would even reach out to me and invite me. There's a million actors out there, and I'm on your show, I appreciate it from my heart. I do.
I'm hardworking, conscientious, and charismatic people to come on my show, and people I admire. If I admire them, I know the audience would want to get to know them too.
Thank you. Well, I do work hard. I'm at this every day, and the highs and lows. I produced a movie called Callous back in 2007, based on a true story about child abuse and family dysfunction. It's a very hard movie, a lot of violence in it, and I played the role of the stepfather, this abusive stepfather. Besides being a producer. Anyway, it was very artistically successful. We won numerous awards at film festivals all over the country. Our first film was a feature film. I didn't do a short film. My friend and I, who wrote the script, his life story, we produced it together. And it got distribution. It was on, for 2 years, it was on 35 cable outlets in the US and Canada, and things like that. Never made money back on it, but artistically, it was successful. And it helps, it's like, oh, multi-award winning movie producer. Okay, yeah, Thom Michael Mulligan, right? But it does help, what I mean? People look at you a little bit differently, So I would say that was a big highlight. And then co-founding the New Hope Film Festival in 2009 with my friend Doug Whipple. And we're now headed into our 12th year in 2021.
That's amazing, because we spoke off camera where you're very much into visioneering and visualizing. And
yes.
I think that's probably, from what I've heard from you, it's a huge strength. And it's certainly helped you to keep going within your acting and producing and writing endeavors and projects, etc. So if you can see the end goal, even though the end goal seems like like to do a feature film with your first film. I mean, that's requiring, even to do it on a low budget, it still requires like big commitment, doesn't it? So if you visualize the end product, the end, the end of it, then I think that really helps you.
Well, there's a story connected to that with what you're saying. I put most of the money up for the film, which I didn't know I was going to do. I took money out of my life insurance. I'll probably never do it that way again. But anyway, I really believed in the film. And I remember my partner at the time, Joey, we had lunch one day. We came out and there was a movie theater marquee. And I said, Joey, this is before we filmed Callous. I said, I want you to visualize Callous on a movie marquee because it's going to be on a movie marquee one day. Okay. Okay. All right. You say so. All right. And then we get into the Indie Fest USA Disney Film Festival. And it's at an AMC theater up by Disney. And we show up for the screening, and it was at an AMC, and there was Callous on the movie marquee.
Wow.
At the film festival, right? And we won Best Picture, too. It won Best Picture. I mean, to add it. But we start, he goes, darn. He goes, wow. He goes, there it is on the movie marquee. I said, yep. It still gives me chills when I think about it. But, yeah.
And you've won loads of awards, many awards. I mean, you wrote The Watching Hour. Was it
The Witching Hour?
The Witching Hour. You wrote that, and you got Best Actor for it, didn't you?
Yes. So what happened with that was, and that relates to my childhood. I grew up in New York City. My father was a dock worker. My mom, we were really poor. And one Christmas, I was about 5 years old. It was after midnight, and my two little brothers are in bed, and we all slept in one bed at that time. Anyway, my mom was pacing around smoking a cigarette saying, "Where's your father?" You know, it was Christmas Eve, right? All of a sudden, the knob turned. He comes in the door, right? He's drunk, right? My mom says, "Where were you?" He goes, "None of your business." And I'll never forget. She goes, "It's the witching hour." Right? And he said, "Make me some eggs." She goes, "Get your girlfriend to make you eggs," right? And he tried to kiss her, and she said, "Get your hands off me. You can't just come home any time of the night." Anyway, I won't get into the rest of it. Anyway, I never forgot that. So when I met Lizette Ben Ray, my friend, actress friend, in an acting workshop here in San Diego about 4 years ago, we had a great chemistry. And I said, "Look, Lizette, let's do something. Let's do a short film together." She said, "Yeah, that would be great. What do you have in mind?" I said, "I have something in mind." So I wrote the first 3 pages of it, pretty much exactly as it happened, sent it to her. She loved it. And we wound up writing the whole thing together, wrote it, co-produced, co-starred in, and shot it. And it's won a lot of awards. She won a Best Actress award at I think the Golden State Film Festival. And then I won last fall at the Marina Del Rey Film Festival, Best Actor in a Short Film. Yeah.
That's amazing because, you know, I know how these independent film festivals work, and I know how important they are to, you know, not everyone can be a multi-million pound paid movie star, right? Not everyone, and there are so many people who are so many actors who are really talented, who really rely on the independent film festival to be seen. Because the majority of the public only get to see the movie stars, or they'll get to see other actors and actresses in supporting roles. So the independent film industry, festival industry, as far as I can see, as a kind of a watcher, you know, a bystander, is so key and important. Film directors, producers, actors, actresses, filmmakers, etc., and everyone involved in that. It's really key. And you know, COVID's came and it's like it's taken away that networking aspect. It's taken away so much of the prestigiousness almost of the independent industry, but the awards. But it's still happening, and that's what I love. People are these independent. I know I'm waffling, sorry, but these independent film festivals are still going on, and they're still handing out their awards, and I think that is so credible to the industry.
Well, yes. I mean, well, first of all, I think film festivals are very important. I had no idea I was going to start a film festival. It happened over breakfast one morning back in New Hope, Pennsylvania with my friend Doug Whipple, and we talked about the industry and how hard it is to get recognized and noticed. And, you know, I was jokingly saying, "Yeah, I'm on the W list. Tom who?" You know? Anyway, and then anyway, we talked about New Hope. I had lived in New Hope for about 12 years, so that's why they were. Anyway, long of it is, I fly back to California. A week later, Doug calls me up and says, "Hey, Tom, I incorporated the New Hope Film Festival. Let's do it."
Excellent.
And Doug's background was Wall Street for 12 years, Wharton School of Business MBA, right? Incredibly brilliant, one of the nicest people. And I thought, you know what? Doug's the right guy to do this with, because he had that side of it. And he was, you know, he had written 4 or 5 novels as well, so he had the artist in him. But I knew this side of it, and we spent the next year on the phone, you know, 4, 5, 6 times a week putting this together. And we launched it in July of 2010. That was the first one. Yeah. So here we are going to a 12th year. Who would have thought, you know?
And how difficult has it been to kind of transfer over to an online award ceremony almost, isn't it?
Well, we didn't. What we decided to do is we tried to wait till the last minute, because our festival's at the end of July. And so, and every state's different here. I don't know about over there in the UK, but here, every state's a little bit different about COVID regulations. And in Pennsylvania, it was like there was the red, the yellow, and the green. Well, they were still in the red. They weren't in the yellow, and it was getting closer and closer to festival time. It wasn't going to go from red to green. There's no way, right? And so we thought, all right, we're not going to be able to have a physical festival. Then we discussed going online, but what we decided to do was, we're not going to do that. We are going to do the awards, because we had, you know, the films that we were going to award. We would do that, and then we invite all the filmmakers to have their film screened in 2021. Right. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to, all the filmmakers that want to come to New Hope and have the film screen will be screened as a part of the 2021 festival.
So have you put off 2020? Have you postponed it?
Well, we did it. We did the awards.
You've done the awards, yeah.
And we did the awards, and also we put our awards on Variety every year.
Okay.
We take an ad in Variety and put all the awards. And yeah, as a filmmaker, you got to love that. Like you won an award that's in Variety. You know, I would love it. So we do that. That's one of the things we do. And we did put our award winners in Variety again this year.
Social media has become so important to promote.
Yes.
Anyone involved in the industry to promote their achievements, right? Which is one of the reasons that I do the Friday Vibe, is to always encourage someone to kind of tell the audience what their achievements are, what they've achieved, what they're doing, what their projects are, because it's just another platform to get your message out that you're working, you're available for work, and actually you're doing really well, right?
Well, yeah, social media is incredibly important. 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't fully buy into it, but little by little, I started saying, well, you know what, I need to get with the program. And so first it was Facebook, then Instagram came along, and I thought, I'm not, you know, well, honestly, I have to say now, 5 of the last 6 jobs, or 6 of the last 7 jobs I booked were from people following me on Instagram who approached me.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
You know, honestly. And a dialogue started, and then actually this young filmmaker, Tyler Morris from Detroit, we connected a year ago in May, I think it was, on Instagram. I had my hockey, right? Hockey opened the door for me. I post every once in a while, I'll post a photo playing hockey. So I posted this thing, and this guy, Tyler Morris, out of millions of people on Instagram, sees my post and goes, oh, hey, Thom, I'm from Detroit. I was a hockey goalie. I played Quebec junior majors. And, you know, I love your post and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, yeah, I responded back, and then we had a little dialogue. Then a couple of weeks later, he sent me a note and said, hey, Thom, I see you're an actor. I checked you out. You're a great actor. I had this feature film script. I'm in California now for the next 6 months or so. Long of it is, I met with him and his partner, Jacqueline, and I wind up where they're going to give me a role in the film, shooting in Detroit. But then toward the end of the year last year, they decided to make me the lead in the film.
That's not Arachnid?
No, Arachnophobia is a different one. No, this is, I can't say the name of it, and I can't talk about it, but it's a suspense dramedy. It's an amazing role. And Tyler Morris is a very talented writer-director, up and coming. Remember his name because you're going to hear about him. And he's making me the lead in his film. And we're going to shoot it next year sometime in Detroit.
Well, if he wants to come on the Friday Vibe and have a chat with me, he's more than welcome.
I will let him know. He might be listening. I don't know. Hi, if you're listening, hello, Tyler.
Hi, Tyler.
Arachnophobia is from Dustin Ferguson. He's done over 100 films, and these are indie films, but he's amazing. He shoots these films, and Arachnophobia is about 8-foot spiders that go 80 miles an hour. And I actually got to be a superhero on that, where I get to slice up some spiders. That's all I want to say about that.
Oh, it scares me.
Yeah, and then the next big thing was, and this relates to, I guess, the metaphysical part of this anyway. In '83, I was cast in Amityville, the Amityville movies, Demon 3.
Yeah.
Okay, I was Tony Roberts was the lead. I was his stand-in. This was back in '83, okay? Here we are all these years later. Now Dustin's directing Amityville in the Hood, the next edition of it, and he's cast me in the lead role. So I go from stand-in back in '83. It took a while, right? It took a few years to I'm going to be the lead role shooting on October here in Amityville in the Hood.
Wow. Well done, you.
And that's come full circle, right? I mean, is that now if I had given up, say I stopped 10 years ago.
It's so easy to give up, don't you think? It's so easy when life.
Well, it's easy to think about it.
Yeah. It's easy to think, oh, it's not working. I'm a failure. This isn't going to work for me. Or believe what someone says. You're not very good at. You know, you must get that all the time in the industry. Oh, you can't act. You can't sing. You've got no stage presence. I don't like your voice. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. They didn't like.
Well, not so much that. What I have gotten was, you're too old. You're too old. Look, I'm just going to say, look, I'm 71. Okay, but I get cast.
51? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm 71. I don't care. Look, put it out there. I'm 71.
Wow.
It's great. Anyway, but I get cast 50s because I look younger. So anyway, but there's been times where it's, oh, there's no roles for men over. There's very few roles for men over 55. Oh, really? Okay. Okay, I'll create my own. I'll write The Witching Hour with Lizette and Ray. We wrote another movie called Notice, another short film about a couple that meets and gets into meets each other at this in front of this museum and get into a debate over who noticed who first.
I can't believe I'm still stuck on. I thought I put you down for 55 to 58.
No, I'm
still stuck on 70.
I'm a guy.
I can't believe it. And he's got all his teeth in your hair. As we say in Wales, he's got all his teeth and all his hair.
Well, I'm a guy. Look, I get people saying, "What's your secret, Thom?" Okay, well, I don't drink. I haven't drank in 40 years. I've never smoked. I don't do drugs. I don't drink caffeine. No refined sugar. I mean, I'm crazy. I do yoga every day. I work out. I play hockey. I eat right. I mean, yeah. I mean, anything can happen at any time, but so far at 71, I'm doing okay.
71, that's amazing.
I have a tremendous amount of energy. I've never lost that. And so, yeah, that's why I tell people, look, you got to take good care of yourself.
So you 71, and then you finally got this amazing role, I can't say it.
Amityville in the Hood.
Thank you. Because
yes.
when I used to babysit, when I was in my, a teenager.
Okay.
Well, maybe late teenager, Amityville were on the, they were there. They were like scary on a Saturday night, but we were all watching them as a family, used to sit and watch them.
Well, I actually, I'm very excited about it. I'm going to be playing a detective. And I'm already I'm going to talk to the director today about, what he's looking to see and some other stuff. But yeah, I'm excited about that. And then this other movie I did a couple of months ago called American Bigfoot. We shot it in Big Bear, California. It's a spoof on Bigfoot. Okay. They're still finishing filming. We were supposed to try and film this week, but the smoke canceled that out. So they're adding some more scenes. But anyway, that's going to be very interesting, a very funky, interesting movie because it's about a film crew that goes up to do a documentary. So it's like a film within a film about Bigfoot. And I can't wait to see that one. It's going to be pretty crazy, pretty crazy film. And then I want to mention this so I don't forget, because this film called The Sweet Taste of Souls that just won the Best Horror Feature Film Award at the London Independent Film Awards.
Well done.
And I want to B. Peterson and Felicity Mudgett. They produced it. Felicity Mudgett wrote it. They cast me in a great role in the film. And the film's been doing extremely well. And I thought I would mention it here because, they won an award from London, and you're in London. So, yeah. And they're amazing. They're so nice. I'm so excited for them. This is their first feature film.
Excellent. Well done. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah. Hi, Felicity, if you're watching. I don't know.
Felicity, well done. Yeah. So you mainly get cast, as I saw you say in your IMDb, cops, detectives, and bad guys. Is that right? Yeah, I seem to play even in theater. I seem to play more edgy characters, but in the movie business, I seem to be looked at as detective. Amityville in the Hood, going to be a detective again. So if you could go ahead. No, go ahead. Outside of those, if you could do any role, what would you have liked to have done, or what would you like to do?
Okay, well, I was just saying this to Tyler Mars, my friend there from Detroit. I love The Road Warrior. That movie is one of my all-time favorite movies that came out with Mel Gibson in 1982. Yeah. I would love to do a movie like that and a role like that.
Like a hero.
I really would love to do that. Yeah. That would be my dream role, to get a role like that. Yeah.
Okay, film directors out there, did you hear that? We need a remake. You're remaking Amityville.
Or if George Miller is watching, the writer-director of Road Warrior and Mad Max. Hey, George, I love your movies.
Yeah, we could do with another Mad Max type. Maybe you could work with Mel Gibson.
Well, you never know. I mean, things have been, I've been busier. Well, let's relate this to COVID, right? Because it's affected everybody in every industry, right? But Here, basically, the movie industry in Hollywood has been shut down, right? But I've done, since March, I've worked on 7 films and 2 shorts and 5 features. One of them is called Hacked, that we shot back in March and April. It's coming out at the end of the month. It's an edgy crime thriller. And I think it's going to be, I haven't seen it yet, but they're saying it looks pretty cool. Anyway, it's coming out. It'll be releasing at the end of September here. We shot that, but it was very strict conditions. When we shot American Bigfoot, you know, people wore masks on set. And when we're filming, we didn't wear masks. The crew wore masks, right? Yeah. You know, we had hand sanitizer and stuff like that. Everybody's trying to do the best they can. Now, some people, they will not work during this. I have friends who will not go on a set. So I've been taking a risk doing it, but you know what? I'm going to work, all right? And I've had 2 COVID tests so far. I had one a week ago, and it's negative.
Excellent. Because
you know, I'm playing hockey 2 or 3 times a week too. So far, I'm doing okay.
And can we say that you have a chest condition left over because you were in the war, and you've got a chest condition?
Oh, I still do. I still do. Yeah.
You have every right or every reason to say, right, I'm not working, I have to protect myself. But you don't. You get out there, don't you?
Well, over 65. I mean, look, anybody, they say over 65 is a danger zone with health. But you know, I'm 71. But the wet feel is. I'm doing pretty good. Yes, I have 2 medications I have to take every day for breathing. Otherwise, I can't breathe. And but you know what? I just thought I'm going to do this. I'm going to work. I'm not going to let this hold me back. Now, some people look, and I don't take anything from anybody. There are people like I know people who don't wear masks. Fine, that's up to you. That's your story, right? People wear a mask. When I go out, when I go to stores, when I go shopping, I wear a mask. When I'm around people, I wear a mask, and I will continue to do that. Out of respect to other people. Is it needed? I don't really fully know, but I will wear my mask when I'm around people because I don't want to upset anybody.
No, that's
but everybody has to do what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's an example that you work through adversity. The whole world is struggling with COVID, obviously, for lots of different reasons, whether it's financial, whether it's family, whether it's health, whether it's work. And you've kept going. You've worked within the parameters of the COVID restriction, but you've also continued to work, and you could have chosen not to. So lots of people have setbacks, disabilities. They get a lot of rejection. They may be thinking, do I want to go into the film industry because it has so many restrictions at the moment? There aren't many films. Just the film industry, just the movie theatre, going to the movie theatre, everything seems to be shutting down slightly, or there's definitely a lid on the entertainment industry. For anyone wanting to get into the film industry but is a bit nervous about doing that, what advice would you give to them?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. I like that. So from when I started in 1980, it was a different world. There was no internet, right? It was pounding the pavement in New York, dropping off headshots and resumes, mailing hard copy headshots and resumes, knocking on casting director doors. I can tell you half the time I'd knock on doors, even though it said, do not come in, do not, and I would still do it. I got kicked out of a lot of them. They told me, can't you read? But some of them let me in. Some of them actually talked to me. Actually, I got a couple of auditions. I didn't book, but they thought, one casting director said, wow, you had the nerve to walk in here. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. And they wound up auditioning me for a film I didn't get. But anyway, so back then, but now it's a totally different world. Anybody can start anywhere. Okay, you can. I mean, with all the casting sites, people are submitting to the U.S. from the U.K. I submit for films in the U.K. Right?
Yeah.
Here's a good example. I saw this early this year. There was a post from a casting director. Don't want to say who it is, from L.A. They got 16,000 submissions for one 4-line role in a feature film.
Blimey. Okay,
I'm going to tie this all together. Think about it. 16,000 submissions. They called in, they said 126 people. It was a male character. Guess what? Only one got it. Now you figure half of those 16,000, 8,000, probably fairly talented. The 126 people, at least half of them, I'm sure, were very talented, but only one got it. So here's the thing. What's going to make you stand out when you're competing against 16,000 people? Branding, social media, social media, social media, social. I keep saying it. It's changed my life. You got to do social media. You got to, and you got to be on it all the time, especially Facebook, Twitter. I have a Twitter account, but I haven't used Twitter because I'm having trouble keeping up with Facebook and Instagram. So for now, that's enough. But yes, you have to stand out. People have to know you're around. You can't go up against 16,000 people. And when you submit, what are the odds of even getting an audition?
Yeah.
And at that point, is it about talent? No, not so much. It's about who's there in the right time and the right moment.
And persistence. So persistence, being there at the right time. The thing is, if you don't go for it, you won't know if you had a chance, right? And if you don't submit, you don't stand a chance of being looked at. So you just have to keep going for it. Keep going for it. Keep going for it. Because at some stage, someone's going to say yes or something's going to stick, right?
Well, this business is 99% rejection, right? Yeah. Truthfully, it is. And actors spend maybe 1% of the time working and 99% of the time looking for work. Okay, so that's why I'm saying if you really want to do it, you have to be at it. I mean, you might get lucky. You might walk in the right door one day, and maybe you've started. Like I've heard stories of people 1 year in LA getting a major feature film with no, they spent a year taking classes. And maybe you never hear of them again. I don't know. So the thing is, anything can happen on any given day. That's the way I look at it. Today could be your day, Paula, right? Today could be my day. I may walk through the right door, but if I'm not pursuing it and doing it, and I'm not letting people know in a nice way that I'm around, you see my posts. Yeah. I try to include other people and create a little story for it and things like that. And, all I can tell you, it's working for me because I've been getting a lot of work because of it.
Excellent. Well done, Thom. Right. We're going to wrap this up. It's been such a pleasure, but I've got one more question to ask you.
Okay.
As you know, we're Integrity Magazine.
Yes.
So what does the word integrity mean to you?
Well, I'll put it this way. I'll go back to my parents. The way I was brought up was, and I heard this from my father all the time, we have to be good people, Tommy. That was number one. All the way till he died. My parents died 14 years ago of cancer within 6 months of each other. My mom, the same thing. Be good people, be nice to people, and do what you say you're going to do. Don't tell somebody you're going to do something and not do it. If you think you can't do it, then don't say you're going to do it. But if you say you're going to do it, do it. And not only do it, do more than what's required. Not just a little bit, but do more of what's required and keep your word. When you give the word to somebody, keep it. To me, that's integrity.
I love it. Thank you. And thank you, Thom. I have to say, Thom, is that Scandinavian? Is that a Scandinavian way of spelling your name?
No, quick story. When I joined Screen Actors Guild in 1980 in New York, there was a Thom Mulligan, so I couldn't use that name. So they told me come up with another name. So I submitted 2 names. One was Thom Michael Mulligan. They accepted that. And that's how I became Thom Michael Mulligan, even though my son, Brian, calls me Thom. He calls me Thom. Okay, that's his, being funny. But anyway, no, that's how I became Thom Michael Mulligan.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for clarifying. It's been such an absolute pleasure having you on. Don't forget to like and share and post this out to everyone, and just use this platform to promote social media branding, right? This is your platform. We'll write an article on you for Integrity Magazine as well, so look out for that. I will, totally. Thank you so much, Paula. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. We're coming to the end of ours, and you're just kind of in about midday, I think. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you, Paula. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you, Paula.